Thank God. It's been a long week for some reason. Welcome. I'm Brigitte Lessard-Deyell from Women Talk, and this is the Rise and Grind Show. I have an amazing guest. I have two amazing guests today, but before we get going, we're talking about being the authentic you today, and it is going to be a fabulous show. So stay in. Bonnie Earl is an amazing empowerment coach. She is just a brilliant, brilliant lady. I love her to bits. And she is a brand new director at Women Talk Calgary North. So next week, is it next week? I can't remember now. March 27th. What day are we? I don't know. It's all blurring. But she is going to be hosting her very first event as a director. So I'm very, very excited. But before we move on to all of this, I am going to bring our regular guests on board, my co-host, the amazing Nancy Seeger. And three, oh, there you are, Nancy.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday.
I just saw you put down your tequila. You know that, right? I was just saying we're actually going on holidays. We have a mini holiday coming up. My kids are starting spring break today.
Woo.
So we're going to Fernie skiing because, once an entrepreneur, you're always working. Why am I going skiing in Fernie, Nancy?
Well, because we have a fantastic event coming up in Fernie. April 13th. I know my brain's still in February.
April, we do not want February back. Do not even say that word. It's been a long
I never get out. What can I say? I'm still stuck in February. I'm behind the computer here. So April 13th, all day in Fernie with a lineup of fantastic speakers.
Ooh.
Brigitte and I will be speaking. We're sharing our personal stories. We're talking about how these stories can help you build your brand. And it's really important because as a famous coach that I happen to love says, your mess is your message. And what you put out to the world will resonate with so many other people. It will draw them into the value you offer, your unique perspective, and how to deliver that a little bit differently. You'll be amazed what sharing your story can do for your brand.
It really does, because when you share a personal piece of you, you then become very authentic. And here's the funny thing. Let's bring Bonnie on board because she's the expert at this. So let's have her come up and we'll get a little bit deeper into it. Good morning, Miss Bonnie.
Good morning.
How are you?
I am excellent.
Wonderful. So tell us a little bit more about you. Who are you? What do you do? Because we know you're awesome, but we may have listeners that haven't met you yet. So tell us about you.
Yeah. Well, I am a women's empowerment coach, and women hire me to move through their roadblocks so that they can get what they want faster. And I loved what you said, Nancy, about the mess is your message, that the mess, sometimes women want to hide. They don't want to deal with that, and they don't realize that that is the roadblock that is keeping them from really showing up in their business, in their lives, and getting what they want. Yeah.
So true. So I'm going to share a personal story right now. For years, I actually never really said publicly, not that I ever lied about it, but I just never talked about it publicly that I was gay. I have never said on stage that I'm gay or married to Sue. And a couple of years ago, and the reason why I didn't isn't that I was ashamed or scared, really. It's just that sometimes it makes people uncomfortable. Like there are religious people that get very uncomfortable if they find out you're gay. But then I thought, you know what? How am I going to change the world if I don't say it out loud? So I went on stage, said it for the first time 2 years ago, and it's really changed my life. Absolutely. First off, it's given permission to many women to come out and say, hey, I'm gay too. And I'd be a few times I was like, you're what? And you never told me? What the hell is wrong with you? Because there's this thing, nobody says anything. So nobody says anything because nobody says anything. And everybody lives in this space that is, well, kind of silly, really. Anyway, it really changed everything. And it really allowed me, this is who I am, all the way deep down to my core. I am an open book, and it makes people trust you.
Yeah, exactly.
And sometimes you think people may not see you as professional because you share, like you've been sexually abused or you had a drinking problem, whatever that thing is. But the thing is, it actually makes people, I believe now, it makes people respect you more.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. And I think for me, for years, I presented as this very soft, sweet, delicate woman. And I am all that. And yet the first time on stage, it was talking about the time that it was going through a really difficult time. And I decided that I was just going to say, fuck it, I'm done with this shit. And the first time that I said that, like people were just so shocked. Oh my God, she used the F-bomb. And, but it was, it just changed things. It was that I don't have to present as this, as one-dimensional. We as women are not one-dimensional. We are multi-dimensional, whether that's, in our careers, finding out that a woman in her 70s is a pilot and nobody knew that she was that. So we aren't one-dimensional, and it's time for us to show up in our full spectrum.
Oh, and I must say, I have to share this. Like the first time that you did this, it was at Women Talk, I think you're talking about. And it was so good because there's Bonnie. She's so perfect, right? She's so beautiful and perfect. And we're all, in her story and enthralled with her. And all of a sudden she talks about how she's in the car and she goes, fuck it. And we all went, whoa. And then we're like, okay, what's going on? Like it really got everybody's attention. It was so, so powerful. And I think it was powerful because that's really how you felt at the time.
Yes, exactly.
And you didn't sugarcoat it.
Right.
And I think that's a critical, important part. I mean, I've been doing marketing a long, long time, and I can tell you, no matter what anybody tells you, people buy from people. And if they can't relate to your authentic voice, they're never going to fully trust you. They're not going to see it. And your message is going to be diluted because it's not going to be true to who you are. And
exactly.
So kudos to you, Bonnie. That is an awesome story.
Yeah. And I was on a stage when I had used that phrase as well. And there was this guy, Sean Roach. Mm-hmm. Sean Roach has built a multi-billion-dollar practice. And he actually used me as an example the next day. And he said, if you're going to get your message out into the world, you need to be aligned, congruent, authentic.
Yep.
And he was using me as an example of that. So, I mean, huge compliment.
Yeah.
And I think we're like the time, it's really changed because for years and years and years, we've been sold to, lied to, tricked into buying things, and not all the facts are out. And it's like people are looking for authenticity now. Yeah. They're looking for people that don't bullshit and, they tell the truth. And then people know they can trust you. And I know I always tell the truth. And I will go online, and if there's something I love, I say, I love it. People know, well, then Brigitte loves it. So we need to check it out, if it's something that, and it changes everything, but you don't get there without opening up.
Exactly. Yeah.
You don't.
So Bonnie, you're an empowerment coach. Women.
Yes.
What do you call yourself? Women empowerment coach?
Yes. So women's empowerment coach. Right.
And so what do you do with your clients?
I have a mastermind group, a year-long mastermind group. And it's a place where we set the foundation at the beginning of the year. What is it that you want to accomplish? A lot of women don't get what they want because they don't even know what they want. They've given their dreams, they're following somebody else's dreams. So we get really clear on what it is that they want. and then developing a plan as to how they're going to get there, anticipating what the possible roadblocks are. And it's when it's done in community, women gain the benefit from every other woman's experience in the group. And then also I do the one-on-one coaching with women as well. And what is different about my coaching is that much of it is in the body. So rather than talking about what it is, we actually have practices where we experience what it is for a woman to be in her body.
That's very fascinating. It's a really different way. Like you're very different in how you approach things. I really like that.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about share? How does it make you feel when you share a personal story in front of an audience?
I'm getting much more comfortable with it. There was a time that it was not comfortable for me, and I realized that that was the missing piece.
And do you think it comes from your background a little bit? Like you were a principal and a teacher for years, and you had to have that mask, right? Like
absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
And
yeah.
So what happened? Like, did you feel the big shift, or was it a progressive thing? Like, did you speak one and went, "Oh my God," or did you have to do it a few times to really see the benefit on how it makes your life and your career better?
I think for me, it was pretty sudden. It was one of those light bulb moments where I had gone to an event, and it was that F-bomb experience. It was, I am done with the hiding and pretending and trying to be what I think other people want me to be. It's time for me to just show up and be me. And then it was, there are going to be people who like me, and there are going to be people who don't. And my right women will be attracted to me. And that was the pivotal moment.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, right? Like you cannot be everything to everyone. And when you're authentic, you need to get to a place where you're comfortable with some people may not like you or agree with you. And that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we didn't really talk about this, Brigitte, but I had a thought of a practice that I do that is a way of helping women identify the authentic you. And I wondered if the two of you and those who are watching, if they're not driving, would want to participate in this. And it doesn't take very long. It's just
let's
fun.
go.
Would you like to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Fun.
Yeah, so for you would need a piece of just plain white blank paper, or if you've got a journal, you can use a journal and just use one page. And so with your piece of paper, you're going to fold it in half, and you're going to fold it in half Hamburg style. My kids talk about Hamburg and hot dog, so it's the short way. And so then once you've got your piece of paper,
okay, you're full screen. So you go this way. Okay.
Yeah, so just half a piece of paper. Okay. And so on the one half of your paper, you're going to, and you do this really quickly, you don't do a lot of thinking about it. Just what are 4 or 5 things, qualities, characteristics that you love about yourself? So 4 or 5 qualities or characteristics that you love about you. And just write them down quickly.
Done.
Done? Perfect. You are the advanced. And then now...
I'm just a bullshitter. No, I'm not.
Awesome. That is a great quality. And now to draw a picture of that you with those positive qualities.
To draw a picture of myself?
Yeah, and it's just a stick character.
No kidding.
We're not expecting any artists. Just draw a picture of
on
that
on the same piece of paper,
on
like
the
on the
same
front
side. Okay. Yes, perfect. And then if you were to give that you a name, what would you call her? Would she be your name? Would she be another name? What would be the name that you would give her? And then, how do you feel when you look at your drawing?
I need teaching lesson, drawing lesson.
Perfect. Okay, so this is the first half. And so would you be so brave as just to hold your picture up to the screen?
Okay, wait, I'll put Nancy on first. You're going to go solo so we can see. Back up a little bit, Nancy.
Okay, so there's Nancy's.
Lower. So do you want to see the words, right?
Yes. So Nancy, what were some of your words?
So it's open, committed, loving, and supportive.
Beautiful. And then your picture again, show us. Oh, wow. And then how did you feel when you looked at that you?
So I called it fun.
Yes.
I saw it as fun.
Fun.
And I called it myself, Nancy.
And Nancy. Perfect. Beautiful. And so, Brigitte, let's look at yours.
All right. Obviously, I need to go to drawing school.
Oh, perfect. I love her. And Brigitte, what were your words? And
so it was honest, direct, loving, high energy.
Beautiful. And her name?
Just Brigitte. Or as somebody called me last night, the Brigitte.
The Brigitte. That's right. And for mine, I had honest and funny. And there I am with a happy little face. And I called myself Benita because sometimes my dad would call me Benita. And I liked that. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's the first part of it. Those are the parts of ourselves that we can easily claim that we love. The authentic us. So now flip your page over, and so
we go to the back now?
They go to the back now, so we can't see the one side. And those that are listening or watching, you can be doing this as well. So on this side, I want you to write down 4 or 5 things that are not your favorite qualities or characteristics. What are 4 or 5 things that are not? And just do that quickly.
I have to think about this.
This is harder.
This is harder.
And just to notice, isn't that interesting? Because some women that I do this with, it's really easy for them to come up with the parts that they don't like. So interesting to note. Okay, and if you've only got 3 or 4, that's great. Just stop there. And then if you were to draw a picture of this you, what would the picture look like? And again, just a stick figure picture of what this you looks like. And then, after you have your stick figure, what is her name? If you were to give her a name, what is it? And then how do you feel when you look at this version of you?
Not happy.
Okay. All right. So let's again. So this is a really, and again, I love doing practices that get women out of their heads and get thinking a little bit differently. And so again, would you be brave enough to share? So Nancy?
Oh, Nancy goes. Okay, so let's do.
So there's the picture.
Great.
And those are the words.
Okay.
And I'll have to read them for you.
Yes, please.
So it's introvert, shy, people pleaser, or perfectionist.
Okay.
And the name I gave myself was Annie.
Uh-huh.
And the what I see, that the face is not as happy or anything, and I see reserved.
Reserved. Okay. Beautiful. And so just to notice that. Yeah. And for Bridget, for yours?
Okay. Oh, wait. I got buttons to push here. Okay. So, oh, there we go.
Oh, wow.
And I called it the
Picture.
Yeah. I love
I
it.
called it the Big B.
The big
And
B.
and I'm some of my things is I don't relax easily. I need lots of love, and sometimes I need too much approval. It's a funny one for me. I don't really care what people think of me, but I need a lot of positive reinforcement. I love that, and
Yeah.
I am not fit, which is that part right there. See the curviness? It's
Yes.
pissing me off.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Beautiful. I love your picture. For me, it was procrastinator, perfectionist, and that was my picture.
Oh, hold on, I gotta make you
Off to the side.
solo. Come in front of the camera more and back up a bit. There you
There.
go.
And I've got a sad face, and I called myself Sad Sack, and I felt very constricted. It was like I'm in a box. And so as we do these, now it's to open it up and to look at both of them. And I think the point of doing this is it's easier for us to love the parts of us that are the bright and shiny pieces. It's not as easy for us to own the pieces of ourselves that we have been somewhere in the past told are not appropriate. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like, again, Nancy, what you said about the mess.
Yeah.
And so part of what I teach women is, can I embrace the all of me?
Fascinating.
Can I love the all of me? Can I love myself while I am dropping those 10 extra pounds? Can I love myself even when I am that shy person? And knowing that there are benefits sometimes in being each of those things.
So Bonnie, can you explain to us how we would know if we can love ourselves? Can you share a moment around that coaching?
Yes. Well, there was a woman in one of my groups who really wasn't liking her weight. And it was that she was really holding herself back in business. There was a roadblock there. And it was around that piece. Can I love myself even though? And so there were just a number of exercises that we went through that were very much about getting the woman into her body. Okay. And beginning to see herself differently, seeing where some of those old stories had come, and they had gone way back to her childhood.
Yeah.
And it takes time. Mm-hmm. And that's part of the reason why it's a year-long mastermind. It's not, a 5-week or something. But it's just fascinating how when we get a picture of what we like, what we don't like, can I love all of me?
Yeah, it's very fascinating because I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, I think for me, one part of, so I was always, I played competitive hockey for 25 years and fairly fit. Never like a small girl, which is not a helpful thing at hockey, but I'm definitely really overweight, and it's attached to it getting older, and having body parts now that don't work as good.
Yes.
But then the positive side to that is that it frees me up more time to do what I now love, which is women talk. Because if I was still heavily involved in hockey, there wouldn't be a women talk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I still need to shed those pounds, Bonnie. Yeah. It's really pissing me off. And I'm about to drop an F-bomb if it doesn't.
And that's great too. It's looking at this and saying, okay, and what is it that I want to change?
Yeah.
And for me, I recognize that whole thing around perfectionism, that is not serving me. Because if I only can show up when I'm perfect, that prevents me from a whole bunch of opportunities. And I was told a while back that there was a woman who had not accepted an opportunity to be on a TV show because her roots were showing. You know, it was time for her to get her hair dyed. And so she didn't accept it because she could not show up on that show with her hair not dyed.
We're so hard on ourselves.
I mean, we're so hard on
as
ourselves,
women,
right?
Like, guys don't give a shit. You know, I mean, they dress up nice. Obviously, we all want to be fairly, but they just like come in and never mind roots. They just don't dye their hair, most of them, you know, like they, in a way, there's a lot of things we need to learn from them, just like there's a lot of things they need to learn from us.
Yes. And then I'm glad you said that too, because that in workshops and coaching, it's around that whole piece too. Mm-hmm. What are the stories that we as women have running in the background about what it is to be a woman? I can't be too successful because I don't want to make my partner feel badly. Or, I mean, there's all kinds of versions of that whole female line. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And even between two females.
Yes.
Yeah. Even for years, I told myself that I was in the tech side of the industry, so I had to dye my hair and make sure I looked younger and do all of those things. And I quit that a long time ago, but it's part of the stories that we carry through and how we, you know, how our perception changes.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Well, that was fascinating, Bonnie. So, like I said, you're an empowerment coach. So how can people get a hold of you?
Well, they can go to my website, bonnie-earl.com.
It's actually in the comments, by the way.
Yes, thank you. And I would love for the viewers to maybe take a picture of their picture of their.
Oh, great idea! Let's share our pictures.
To share the pictures. Take a picture and then post it in the comments below. And maybe underneath it, what was your aha? What was your aha from doing the practice and listening to the show this morning?
And don't forget to tag Bonnie in it so that she can comment back to you.
Yes, I would love to do that. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, this is cool. So people are commenting. So we'll come back to your comments. Bonnie will go and reply to any of your comments below the video. So go and post your picture. Thank you, Bonnie. That was a fascinating discussion. I love it. And that drawing was great. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you, Nancy. And thank you for playing. That was wonderful.
Oh, always open play.
and that's the thing, you know, it's that openness that makes the difference.
It really, really does. So if you want to dip your toe at being fully open and honest, Women Talk is the perfect place. First, you can come and attend an event and see what it's all about, and then you can apply to talk. And I have the link in the comments as well, but it is womentalk.ca/apply, and apply to share your story. You do not need to be a professional speaker. Everybody is welcome because everybody has an amazing story. And we do have a really, really special event coming up, as Nancy was mentioning. So Bonnie, we're going to let you go. So you stay in the lobby. We'll come back and talk with you in a moment.
Perfect.
And Nancy, we have an amazing event happening in Fernie on April 13th, and it's all about story sharing. It's going to be, now you're going to be sharing a story.
I am.
We have a couple of speakers that are going to be really fascinating. We have about 15 speakers, I think, or a dozen. I can't remember offhand now, but one of which is a medium, and she is funny as hell. And we also have have Kelly Filardo, who was a burn victim and just did a TED Talk. So it's going to be a great day. It's a full day event from 10 o'clock till 5 or 6. Go to womentalk.ca/Fernie to buy your tickets. It's only $85 for that many speakers, and it includes your lunch.
Yeah, and it's going to be fantastic. There's such a variety of speakers and such a variety of stories. You don't want to miss that in April in Fernie. And
Yeah.
do sign up. The rooms and stuff, we've got a group going, so you can share rooms, you can do other things to get there, but just don't miss it. It's too good in too short a time frame to miss.
We are going to have a great time. I mean, it's in Fernie. So,
It's in Fernie.
woo-hoo! All right. So thank you for joining me. Thank you, everyone. And we will see you next Friday. Bye.
Bye, everybody.